basically we all know Dylan's going to be the quarterback, and probably after the summer we'll have a backup ready.
Steve Spurrier reaffirming what he told the media back in January, that Dylan Thompson will replace the departed Connor Shaw as the starting quarterback. But as Spurrier alluded to, there are still questions at that position. Andy Demetra is our South Carolina insider, and he joins us from Columbia. And Andy, what is still left to be determined at quarterback that coaches will be keeping a close eye on Saturday?
Well, that's going to definitely be up for grabs on Saturday, that backup quarterback. And right now there are three candidates: redshirt sophomore Perry Orth, redshirt sophomore Brendan Nosovich, redshirt freshman Connor Mitch. Mitch was the most highly decorated coming out of high school, 6'3". He's got a big arm. Nosovich is most cut from the Connor Shaw zone read option mold. But Perry Orth has been the surprise of spring football. He's a walk-on. And Steve Spurrier said he's been the most consistent in camp. In fact, 2 weeks ago, he pronounced him in the lead for that number 2 quarterback spot. Mitch had a very good scrimmage last Saturday. This job is still up for grabs and could be won perhaps Saturday at the spring game.
Andy, there's no Jadeveon Clowney this year, no Kelsey Quarles, no Victor Hampton. So what will we see differently defensively Saturday and then into the fall?
Well, what a lot of fans are curious about is the Gamecocks are going to experiment more with a 3-4 defense this year under coordinator Lorenzo Ward. That features a position they created called the Bob, which stands for Big Old Backer. It's basically an offensive linebacker in a 3-4 scheme. That's meant more to accentuate the strengths of a very athletic and deep linebacking core than it's meant to hide any weaknesses on that defensive line. Not only Jadeveon Clowney is gone, but his bookend defensive end Chaz Sutton and Kelsey Quarles, who was an All-American. Darius English is going to be the first man up to replace Clowney, and it'll be interesting to see who might step up and really emerge as that heir apparent on the defensive line.
Let's bring in managing editor Pete Fiutak now. And Few, will this defense be better or worse without Clowney?
Well, you don't get better by losing Jadeveon Clowney and Kelsey Quarles and all those great players, but it'll be fine. You know, what happens is, Steve Spurrier is doing a great job of restocking the shelves. And as Andy alluded to, this linebacking core is fantastic. But the key to this team is going to be that the offense, I think, is going to ramp things up so much more. The defense isn't going to have to be dominant. I love this offensive line. How do you help out a defense? With a grinding ground attack. And this offensive line is going to be able to pound away. I think they'll be fine with Dylan Thompson at quarterback. Mike Davis is going to be has a phenomenal season in the backfield. But again, I think with this offensive line, time of possession is going to be a big key to this. And I think that's how you help out this defense.
I agree with you, Pete, because you know what? South Carolina has uncommon depth on that offensive line, like you mentioned. It's as strong as it's going to be in the last 10 to 15 years. And also, South Carolina has shown they can lose NFL talent and still plug in the next man and not skip a beat. So South Carolina very capable of equaling or exceeding an 11-win year, which has had each of the last 2 seasons.
Well, we'll see how they look this Saturday in the spring game, and then, of course, the opener August 28th against Texas A&M. Andy, thanks very much. Pete, thanks to you as well. Will the Houston Texans take Jadeveon Clowney, number 1 overall? Pete has his take.
Yes,
CI
on
the clock,
yes.
the series, only on CampusInsiders.com.